Hey there, my dear friend. This is Sarah Newman speaking. Before we delve deeper into the revelations that changed my life, I need to ask you something vital. If you believe in the transformative power of faith and the promise of eternal redemption, please subscribe to this channel. Many watch these stories, yet only a few take the step to truly join our community of seekers. By subscribing and turning on notifications, you ensure that you never miss a life-altering messages that could illuminate your path and guide you toward salvation. This isn't just another video. It's a call to awaken your soul and embrace the divine truth that awaits beyond our mortal struggles. Stay with me as we explore the mysteries of the spiritual realm, the significance of that sacred mark, and the ultimate message of unconditional love and redemption through Jesus Christ. I want to take you back to a time when life seemed as ordinary as the small-town streets of Kansas where I grew up. In my childhood home, faith was woven into every conversation. My mother's prayers were like a constant hymn echoing through our modest dwelling. Yet, even as a young girl under the same wide Kansas skies, I found myself questioning, yearning for a world grounded in tangible truths rather than the whispered promises of miracles. I wasn't drawn to the sermons or the elaborate rituals. Instead, I clung to the solidity of books and facts, which led me to work as a librarian, a keeper of stories, while my own story remained scribbled in the margins of doubt and defiance. I've always been a bit of an outsider, someone whose life was defined by independence and the scars of past disappointments. I navigated life on my own terms, even when that meant straying from the expectations of my community. Perhaps that's why my journey took such an unexpected turn, a journey that would soon shatter the comfortable boundaries of skepticism and routine. It was on an unremarkable evening when I decided to replace the porch light bulb, a chore as mundane as any other. With a resigned sigh, I set up the ladder, the familiar creak of its old wood a constant in my life. But that night, fate had something else in store. As I reached for the bulb, the ladder wavered unexpectedly. In a heartbeat, I found myself tumbling down, the world turning upside down as gravity pulled me into a free fall. There was a brief, surreal moment of weightlessness, a fleeting glimpse of life that felt more like a consciousness projection than the simple act of falling. I landed hard on the wooden porch, and everything turned to chaos. I recall a burst of piercing pain, a rush of fragmented thoughts, and then an overwhelming darkness that swallowed me whole. In that instant, I wasn't simply hurt. I was detached, separated from the physical vessel I'd known all my life, floating above the scene like a silent observer. I watched in disbelief as paramedics rushed to my side. Their frantic voices, the clamor of medical equipment, and the flurry of desperate actions all belonged to a world that I was now merely watching from afar. I distinctly heard them murmur something about a near-death experience, about how my body had slipped beyond the threshold of life. Time itself seemed to distort as I hovered, a ghostly presence in a moment suspended between worlds. I saw my lifeless body on the ground, surrounded by people whose faces blurred into insignificance. Their efforts to revive me, the urgent commands and soft reassurances, all played out like a scene from a movie, one where I was both the audience and the forgotten actor. At precisely 11:47 p.m., I heard the pronouncement that would forever alter my understanding of existence. They declared me dead. Strangely, instead of terror, I felt an uncanny calm. It was as if my soul had been freed from the confines of earthly pain, drifting into a realm that defied all I once believed about life after death. There, in that suspended state, I began to sense an approaching presence, a subtle glimmer, like a distant light at the end of the tunnel, hinting at revelations yet to come. I started piecing together flashes of my life, moments of missed kindness, silent regrets, and the bittersweet memory of unconditional love that I had both given and withheld. In that hazy twilight between worlds, I realized I was experiencing something far beyond the mere cessation of breathing, a true passage into the spiritual realm. My inner eyes witnessed a shift from a life dictated solely by reason to one touched by the profound mystery of existence. I knew, deep down, that this was not just a final moment, but the threshold of an encounter that would redefine every belief I once held. And as I floated there, a silent testament to the fragility of life, I couldn't help but wonder if this was the universe's way of offering me a second chance, a call to truly see the beauty of unconditional love that awaits beyond the veil. The engulfing darkness was suffocating, a void that seemed to consume every fragment of my being. In that relentless emptiness, my mind was flooded with voices, echoes of judgment that pierced the silence like shards of broken glass. They accused me of living a life of skepticism, of clinging to cold, hard facts while dismissing the possibility of unconditional love. I felt as if each word was a weight added to my soul, pressing me deeper into this shadowy abyss. It was a moment of raw truth, a life review where every choice, every slight, and every missed opportunity for compassion was laid bare. I remember feeling an intense, almost unbearable sorrow as I saw memories unfold before me. I witnessed the small, seemingly insignificant moments in my Kansas hometown, the unspoken apologies, the missed embraces, the quiet sacrifices that went unrecognized. In those moments, my heart ached with regret. Yet, intertwined with that sorrow was a gentle reminder that redemption was never out of reach. Even as I floated in what felt like a state of pure consciousness projection, I began to understand that the spiritual realm wasn't a cold, distant void. It was alive with the potential for renewal and love. Then, amidst the oppressive darkness, a single delicate glimmer caught my attention. It started as a faint spark, a fragile but persistent light at the end of the tunnel. Gradually, it grew in intensity, bathing the void in a warm, inviting radiance. That light wasn't merely a physical phenomenon. It was a profound symbol of life after death, an invitation to step beyond the limitations of mortal existence. Its gentle glow seemed to whisper promises of hope and mercy, assuring me that there was more beyond this shadowed trial. As the light expanded, it revealed a figure slowly emerging from its brilliance, a figure whose presence exuded an aura of divine comfort and compassion. I could hardly believe my eyes when I recognized him, Jesus. There was something ineffably soothing about his presence, something that spoke directly to the core of my being. His eyes, deep and filled with an endless reservoir of unconditional love, locked onto mine. In that silent moment, I felt as if every hidden corner of my soul was illuminated by his gaze. It was an encounter that transcended words, a direct revelation that redefined my entire understanding of existence. Without uttering a single word, Jesus allowed me to witness my life played out like a vivid montage. I saw flashes of my past, the moments of quiet indifference, the times I had chosen solitude over reaching out in love, and the instances where I had dismissed the intangible beauty of faith. Each scene was presented with such clarity that I couldn't help but feel both exposed and profoundly moved. I realized that I had been so entrenched in my skepticism that I had neglected the spiritual truths that could have saved me from so much loneliness and regret. Standing there, enveloped by a radiance that defied human comprehension, I experienced a deep stirring within, a call to awaken to a greater purpose. I understood that my near-death experience was not merely an accident. It was a divine intervention, a rare glimpse into a reality where the boundaries between life and death blur. The overwhelming sense of unconditional love that radiated from Jesus reassured me that this encounter was meant to be a turning point. I was being shown the way forward, a way that embraced the promise of eternal life, not through fear or condemnation, but through forgiveness, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to God's mercy. I felt the immense gravity of his silent command, "Tell them." Those two simple words resonated like an echo across the expanse of eternity, urging me to share the revelation I had received. It was as if he was saying, "Your journey is a testament to the transformative power of divine love. You must let the world know that beyond the darkness, there is a path illuminated by the light of hope, a promise of life after death, and a gateway to the eternal embrace of the spiritual realm." In that transcendent moment, every fear, every doubt, and every barrier that had once defined my life began to crumble away. I was no longer just a skeptic, clinging to the tangible. I had become a witness to a miracle that redefined existence itself. My soul brimmed with a newfound purpose, fueled by the undeniable truth that unconditional love and redemption are gifts freely given, even to those who wander in darkness. As I hovered there, suspended between worlds, the overwhelming reality of my experience settled in, a truth that would forever change the way I viewed my life, my faith, and my destiny. I was now bound to a mission, to share this sacred message, to reveal the undeniable truth that even in our darkest moments, the light of the divine awaits, ready to guide us back to a place of grace and eternal love. In the depths of that transcendent darkness, I found myself confronted with a panorama of my past, a relentless, intimate life review that laid my entire existence bare before me. There, Suspended in a state of pure consciousness projection, I witnessed every moment of my life unfolding as if on a celestial screen. I saw the laughter and tears of my youth, the quiet exchanges of love, and the sting of lost opportunities. Every act of kindness I'd hesitated to extend, every cold dismissal of a chance to embrace unconditional love, played out in vivid detail. It was as if the universe had gathered every secret and every hidden regret to show me the truth of my soul. I realized that my skepticism, the very doubts that had shielded me from embracing the spiritual realm, had also built invisible walls that distanced me from a love that was far greater than I ever imagined. As each memory cascaded over me, the experience was not one of harsh condemnation, but rather a profound unveiling, a mirror reflecting both my faults and my untapped potential for grace. I watched as my interactions with those I loved, and even with strangers, were illuminated by a gentle light at the end of the tunnel, a beacon that symbolized the possibility of life after death, filled with mercy and redemption. The scenes of my life were intertwined with fleeting instances of pure, radiant joy, moments when the divine had quietly brushed my existence with a touch of magic, moments when I had unknowingly been cradled in the arms of unconditional love. Amid the torrent of recollections, a particularly powerful image emerged, a scene bathed in a transcendent glow, unlike any light I had ever seen on Earth. It was as if the very fabric of time and space had been woven with strands of pure, heavenly radiance. In that moment, I realized I was gazing upon a glimpse of heaven itself, a realm where every soul is embraced by a love so immense that it defies human understanding. The brilliance was not blinding, but comforting, like the warm caress of a long-awaited homecoming. I could see souls bathed in light, each one resonating with the promise of eternal peace and boundless compassion. The air was filled with a soft hum, a celestial chorus that spoke of a divine purpose, of a love that transcended all earthly sorrows. Then, amid the overwhelming splendor of this heavenly vision, Jesus reappeared, his presence more profound and luminous than ever before. His eyes held the infinite wisdom of ages, and in them, I saw not judgment, but an invitation to embrace the truth of my own heart. Standing before him, I felt as if every doubt I had ever harbored was gently washed away by the tide of his compassion. He did not speak in that moment. Instead, he allowed me to absorb the entire spectrum of my life, each triumph, each failure, and every act of mercy I had either given or withheld. I recalled his words from John 14:6. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. In that sacred silence, the scripture came alive, its truth reverberating within me as a promise of redemption and the possibility of a transformed existence. Jesus' silent command, "Tell them," echoed within the vast expanse of that spiritual realm. It was a divine mandate urging me to be the bearer of this profound revelation, that our near-death experience is not an end, but a metamorphosis into a higher state of being, where every soul is offered a chance to begin anew. The light at the end of that tunnel was not merely a guide, but a doorway to a life imbued with hope, where each moment is a step toward an everlasting union with divine love. As I absorbed the totality of that experience, a powerful realization dawned upon me. This journey was a call to awaken from a life shrouded in doubt, and to embrace the merciful truth that awaits us all. Every fragment of my being vibrated with the knowledge that I had been granted a second chance, a rare opportunity to reframe my existence and share the transformative power of unconditional love. The vision of heaven, the life review, and the silent, all-encompassing compassion of Jesus merged into a singular, life-altering truth that whispered, "This is not the end. It is the beginning of an eternal journey." Even now, as I recount these experiences, I feel the tender echo of that divine encounter reverberating in my heart. Every day is a new invitation to live with purpose, to let go of past regrets, and to step forward into a life illuminated by the promise of eternal grace. And though I have returned to the physical world, I carry within me the indelible imprint of that encounter, a constant reminder that beyond every moment of darkness, there lies a radiant light waiting to guide us home. I woke up in the hospital with a start, my heart pounding, my body trembling, and a mind still echoing with the memories of that otherworldly journey. The sterile white walls of the room, the rhythmic beeping of monitors, and the hushed whispers of nurses all felt surreal compared to the boundless spiritual realm I had just left behind. I was back, but nothing was the same. The experience of having left my body and peered into a life after death had left an indelible mark on my soul. I could still feel the powerful pull of unconditional love that had emanated from Jesus' very presence, a love that shattered every preconceived notion I'd held about faith and the afterlife. In those early hours after my return, as I lay in a hospital bed still enveloped by the remnants of that near-death experience, I found myself grappling with a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. The doctors marveled at my recovery, 8 minutes clinically dead, and yet here I was, whole and unscathed. But inside, I wrestled with a profound sense of isolation. How could I possibly explain what I had seen, what I had felt, when every word seemed inadequate to describe the light at the end of the tunnel I had witnessed? My consciousness projection into the spiritual realm had unveiled truths that defied the limits of human language, leaving me with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The days that followed were filled with an internal battle. I tried to resume my routine, to immerse myself once again in the quiet order of my librarian's life. Yet the memory of that luminous encounter persisted. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the radiant figure of Jesus, standing with a serene assurance that spoke of eternal mercy and divine purpose. I recalled the commanding yet gentle tone in which he had said, "Tell them." Those words reverberated in my heart like a sacred decree, a reminder that my survival was not mere chance, but a calling to share a message that could transform lives. I began to share my testimony with hesitant friends and even more cautious family members. The responses were as varied as the stars in the sky. Some listened with open hearts, moved by the undeniable power of what I described, while others dismissed it as a hallucination, a trick of a damaged mind. I remember one conversation in particular, when a dear friend, still rooted in conventional beliefs, challenged me. "How can you be sure it wasn't just a figment of your imagination?" she asked. But in that moment, I knew the truth was far beyond the realm of human skepticism. I recounted every detail, the inexplicable calm, the vivid life review, the overwhelming sense of unconditional love that washed over me like a tidal wave. I told her how the spiritual realm, a place where every sin was weighed against the infinite mercy of God, had shown me not condemnation, but the promise of redemption. As days turned into weeks, I found solace in prayer and the sacraments. Each morning, before the sun even peeked over the horizon, I would kneel and speak to God, thanking him for the second chance I'd been granted. The Eucharist, once a mere ritual in my life, now pulsed with the reality of his presence. Confession became not a moment of shame, but a liberating release, a way to embrace the mercy that I had seen firsthand. I immersed myself in the teachings of the gospel, finding comfort in John 14:6. "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Those words, once abstract and distant, now resonated deeply, reminding me that my journey was about transformation and the embrace of a divine mission. Yet the struggle to communicate the full intensity of my near-death experience remained. I often felt as if I were caught between two worlds, the rational, mundane existence I had known, and a transcendent reality that pulsed with spiritual energy. Every time I tried to articulate the sensation of moving through the threshold between life and death, my voice trembled, and the words seemed too feeble to capture the depth of the spiritual revelation. The vision of that celestial light, a beacon that had guided me back to life, was not just a fleeting image. It was a vivid, ongoing reminder of the eternal embrace that awaits every soul willing to believe. In quiet moments of introspection, I marveled at the irony of my life's journey. Once, I had dismissed matters of faith with a skeptical mind and a guarded heart. Now, I was a living testament to the transformative power of divine love, a beacon for anyone seeking the truth beyond the material world. My experiences in the spiritual realm taught me that no matter how lost we may feel, there is always hope. That hope is like the comforting glow of a light at the end of the tunnel, beckoning us toward a future filled with compassion, forgiveness, and a renewed purpose. Even now, as I navigate this new chapter, the memory of that near-death experience continues to guide me. It reminds me that every breath is a gift, every moment an opportunity to embrace the teachings of Jesus and share the transformative message of unconditional love. And so, with every step I take, I am compelled to honor the divine mission bestowed upon me, to tell the truth of what lies beyond, and to invite others to discover the profound reality of life after death. The transformation had finally taken hold of my soul, weaving together the threads of my shattered past, and the luminous promise of redemption. In the quiet solitude of my recovery, I found myself reflecting on every moment that had led me to this point, a mosaic of memories, regrets, and ultimately, a newfound hope. I had once lived a life defined by skepticism, where even my identity as a lesbian was a source of quiet rebellion against the rigid expectations of my community. But in that fateful near-death experience, as I hovered between the realms of the physical and the divine, I witnessed a truth that transcended every label and every prejudice I had ever known. Now, every heartbeat reminded me of the preciousness of existence and the undeniable call of the spiritual realm. The vivid imagery of my consciousness projection still danced behind my eyes, a surreal montage of fleeting moments bathed in the radiance of a light at the end of the tunnel, beckoning me toward a reality where life after death was not an ending, but a glorious beginning. I understood that the miraculous intervention I had experienced was not merely a chance occurrence, but a divine gift, a testament to the infinite reservoir of unconditional love that awaits us all when we surrender our doubts and embrace the mystery of faith. In the days and weeks that followed, my inner world underwent a radical reawakening. I began to see the world with renewed clarity, as though each ray of sunlight and every gentle breeze carried whispers of that transcendent encounter. The memory of Jesus standing before me, radiant with compassion and truth, became my constant companion, a reminder that even the deepest wounds can be healed by divine mercy. His silent command, "Tell them," echoed relentlessly in my mind, urging me to share this testimony with everyone willing to listen. It was as if every trial I had faced, the isolation, the inner turmoil, the skepticism that once guarded my heart, had been meticulously orchestrated to lead me toward this very moment of clarity and grace. My return to the physical world was not a simple reawakening, but a rebirth in spirit. Each step I took, every conversation I had, was now imbued with the sacred knowledge that there is a light at the end of the tunnel for all who seek it. I began to immerse myself in the sacraments, finding solace in the intimate rituals of prayer and confession, which transformed into powerful acts of communion with the divine. The Eucharist, in particular, became a portal to the spiritual realm, a living reminder of the unconditional love that had embraced me during my darkest hours. I found myself drawn to Scripture with a fervor I had never known, especially the words of John 14:6, which resonated deeply within me. "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." These sacred words were no longer abstract theological concepts, but the very foundation of a life reborn through faith. Sharing my story, however, was not without its challenges. Many questioned whether such an extraordinary near-death experience could truly be more than a trick of a faltering mind. Some dismissed my testimony as mere hallucination, a product of trauma, and the mind's desperate attempt to find meaning in chaos. Yet, every time I recounted the vivid scenes of my consciousness projection, the overwhelming presence of that radiant light, and the tender embrace of unconditional love, I could see a flicker of understanding in the eyes of those who listened. I learned that not everyone was ready to accept the profound mystery of life after death, but for those willing to suspend their disbelief, my story opened a window into a realm of hope and divine purpose. As the days turned to months, I embraced my new mission with both humility and determination. I became a living bridge between two worlds, the tangible and the transcendent, bearing witness to the miraculous possibility that lies beyond our earthly struggles. Every conversation became an opportunity to extend that same light at the end of the tunnel to someone lost in darkness, to remind them that no matter how deeply entrenched their doubts might be, the spiritual realm offers a promise of renewal and eternal grace. I realized that my identity, once a source of inner conflict, had become an integral part of my testimony, a reminder that every soul, regardless of its path or its struggles, is cherished and invited into the boundless embrace of divine love. Now, as I stand on the threshold of each new day, I feel the weight of that sacred calling urging me onward. I carry with me the unforgettable vision of my life's totality, a mosaic of mistakes and miracles, and the indelible image of a love so pure it transcends human understanding. I am no longer defined by the limitations of my past or the confines of earthly existence. Instead, I have been reborn into a life that vibrates with the promise of redemption, a life that beckons others to seek the truth that lies just beyond the veil of death. In this final moment of reflection, I invite you, my friend, to pause and consider your own journey. Have you ever felt that pull, a gentle persistent tug at the edges of your consciousness, that there might be more to life than meets the eye? If so, remember that the door to a life filled with unconditional love and eternal hope is always open. Your story, too, might one day lead you to a moment where the light at the end of the tunnel transforms your existence in ways you never thought possible.